Hey guys, this week we're going to be looking at another Bandai Star Wars kit in their 1/72nd scale Tie Interceptor kit. Now let's dig into her. Now first up, we've got the main black sprue that contains our solar panels, divided up into a total of 6 different segments for the upper, lower, and middle section, a cockpit cover part, and a seated pilot figure and a scale sort of 2D figure. Now, in regards to the pilot figure, which I'll try to hopefully get on camera as best I can, I would say arguably is one of the best detailed figures I have seen. Bandai put a lot of effort into reproducing him, and I say bravo. The quality really shows. As for the solar panels, the texture detail on them, which unfortunately I don't think is going to really show up on camera all too well. I'll try to get it as best I can. Hopefully this is focusing. Is very lifelike. They do a great job of reproducing in scale how they look in the films. And the addition of the pilot figure does add a little bit of added interest. So, continuing on. Next up, we've got the first of our fuselage halves. This sprue also contains parts for the outer edges of the solar panel connections and a couple other odds and end parts. Now, in regards to the outer panels, I'm not a real fan of how they chose to break it down. I would have liked to have seen it more complete, as ultimately allows greater chance for there to be seams and gaps, and that's going to make cleanup a little more difficult. Obviously, they did this so you can get the parts in, and you'll see in a few minutes when we look at the main halves, but I think they could have at least done this a little better. Next up, we've got the second part of the fuselage and an additional back part. Overall detailing on both of these is very nice. A lot of detail. I don't know how well it's going to show up on camera. Fortunately, this is an older camera, so I basically got to work with what I got. So, now we have our main wing parts. And here you can really start to see just the overall size of the kit once it's completed. It's basically good, more or less the size of your hand. Again, detailing is very nicely done. Nothing's overscale or underscale. It's all very sharp and will definitely look fantastic with a nice wash applied. But as I said, since they chose to do the wings in this manner and have you slide the solar panels in, it does unfortunately allow for those seams. What I think they should have done is instead have this as a full part with the outer panels and go with a sandwich approach. I think that would have done a better job and would have saved us some cleanup troubles. Next sprue gives us our main fuselage parts, not fuselage, the cockpit parts, including all the controls, panels, and all the fine details that go into it. Now, they did a pretty decent job, even though a lot of this, once it's closed up, will not ultimately be seen. But it's nice to know it's there, and does allow for a lot of options. Continuing on, we got our clear parts. We've got our main cockpit panel, which has very easily noticeable raised detailing, which will make masking off for painting very easy. And we also have our inner clear part for the upper cockpit area. Now this kit does include 2 added extras. First is a display base, which is alright. It's a little plain, but does its job. And additionally, 2 laser blasts. Personally, I would like to see if they had included 4, since it does have 4 cannons. You know, it would be nice if they included the option for a full blast from all 4. Put these away. Another thing this kit does include is 2 sets of markings options, or not options. One as stickers and one as water slides. So I'm going to talk with the water slides, since ultimately that's what personally I'll use, and fortunately stickers are stickers. Now, you get a lot of paneling for the cockpit that are very tiny and going to be somewhat difficult to get in just because of their size and how and where you got to get them. So that's something to be aware of. So that's going to be a challenge. And since the cockpit is going to be most part not visible once everything's closed up, I would say if you were going to, skip an area, that would be one thing to do. In addition, they also include markings for some of the other components, basically as an alternative to masking and painting. So let's get on to the instructions. Now, the overall build flow starts in the cockpit and builds up the kit around it. Now, starting with getting the pilot figure all settled in, everything added in there, moving on to detailing up the back part, sealing everything up, closing up the full ball section, and then building up and attaching the wings. So overall, no real surprises there. Now, since this is technically a snap kit, everything should go together without glue. Now, an area where I am a little disappointed on is the paint and marking. Now, you unfortunately only get one option. Now, in the movies, we do only see the one variant. However, if you look at Expanded Universe, there's a decent number of other squadrons and what have you. And it would have been nice had they included that in this release. In addition, the color key is kind of plain and just as general, neutral gray, black, white, what have you. Nice if they actually used a legitimate paint call out. So overall, it's a good kit. There's nothing really, I would say major to complain about, and a lot of the complaints I listed are more nitpicky. So overall, if you do decide to pick it up, it's one that you shouldn't have too much hassle. Bandai kits in general are pretty much shake and bake. You can basically throw some glue in, clip all the parts, and shake it up, and you'll have a kit pop out. But at the same time, it does provide a good canvas for someone who wants to do something more to go to work on. So overall, that was a look at Bandai's 1/72nd scale Tie Interceptor kit. A good kit with a lot of potential. Until next time.